morning. This is section 3.2, solving systems by substitution. This is a whole new way. Now, when I have given you in the past equations, and I've said find the x and y value that make each equation true, and I mean find a point that will make this one true and make that one true. Same x and y value. What I have seen you do is I have seen you guess and check, which usually took a lot of frustration and a lot of time. And then, those of you that watched the video, the last video, you started graphing them. That gave you a great estimate. Usually you could get the point fairly quick. Today I'm going to show you a new way, substitution. You are required to learn this way. You will be tested on this way, and it's not difficult. So first thing we do is we take one of the equations. We circle, and I always choose the variable that's by itself in the equation. Like this had just a plain y, so I added 3x to each side, and I found that y equaled 3x plus 1. Then I took that value, since it says y equals that, and I took that value 3x plus 1 and plugged it in the other equation for y. I replaced y because y is equal to it. So I replaced it, and now I want to solve it with you. So I go ahead and I eliminate the parentheses. There's only a 1 out here, so I could say I distribute by 1, or I can just remove the parentheses. So I have 4x plus 3x plus 1 equals 8. I combine my x's, associative property, 7x plus 1 equals 8. Now if you want to go ahead and solve for the x, you circle it, draw the line, write your PIMDAs, going up the PIMDAs, or you can look at it and say what it is. We subtract 1, we get 7x equals 7, divide by 7, and we have x equals 1. Not too long to get to that, right? Just remember, take your variable, set it by itself, get everything else to the other side of the equation. Whatever that variable is equal to, you plug that into the other equation for the variable. Now that we have 1 for the x, though, we're not done. Now you need to plug 1 in each of the equations for x and make sure you get the same y value. So we have 1 for this x, we have 1 for this x. Okay, go ahead and we plug these in. Negative 3 plus y equals 1. Negative 3 plus y equals 1. If you're struggling, brain fart, not able to do that, you could add 3 to each side, and you have y equals 4. So according to that equation, when x is 1, y equals 4. Now in order for this system to have the same point, share a point, it needs to end up with y equaling 4 over here. So we go 4 times 1 plus y equals 8. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 plus y equals 8. Now you could stop right there and say 4 plus 4 equals 8. Or you can go ahead and do your subtraction property of equality and find that y equals 4. Both equations agree, so our solution is 1, 4. I want you to try that in class. I want you to try substitution when I ask you to solve. Okay? Now, I want to show you, if you remember right in our last video, we have 3 possible answers to a system. We just solved for 1 with substitution. Now I want to show you what it looks like if they're parallel and there's no solution. So these 2 lines, I'm telling you up front, they are parallel. Now let's look at how it looks. So we added y to each side, so we got x equals y minus 2. We're plugging y minus 2 in here for x. Now we do need to distribute that negative. Negative times a positive y is negative y. Negative times a negative 2 is a positive 2. plus y equals 4. We do the commutative property and move our y's together. We have a minus y plus 2 equals 4. These y's cancel each other. 2 is not equal to 4. That's false. So if you get a false answer, you know that these are parallel lines. It's no solution. And it will be a false answer because your variables have canceled and you just have two numbers there. So now, one more time, with systems, we have three possibilities: no solution, one solution, infinite solutions. I've shown you a no solution, you end up with 2 equals 4. That's not true. On one solution, you'll end up with a variable equaling a number, and then you plug that number back into the other equations, or both equations, to get a new number. Okay, or you might end up with the y equals a number. Okay, now let's look at infinite solutions. So in this sample, I'm telling you up front, the lines lay on top of each other. So we solve for y. Again, I choose the variable that doesn't have a coefficient with it, and I just move everything else to the other side of the equation. So we have y equals, this became a negative 2x minus 2. You had to subtract 2x from each side to get it over there. So we plug that in for the y. Now here, we are going to end up distributing with that 2. So we have 4x plus 2 times negative 2, that would be a negative 4x. 2 times negative 2, negative 4, equals negative 4. Again, the variables wipe out. 4x minus 4x wipes out. And then we end up with a true answer. Okay, so back to our possibilities. When we have infinite solutions, we'll end up with a true answer. Our variables are wiped out, true answer. Here our variables are wiped out and it's a false answer. Okay, so that kind of shows you how to do substitution. Practice it, come to class ready to practice it.